Hey everyone, Megan Olivi here. UFC 134 has just ended. We're backstage in Rio. I'm joined by Dana White. Dana, this has been such a historic week and a crazy, crazy event. If you had to pick one moment that stood out in your mind as your favorite, what would it be?
The whole night, this whole night. All the fights from the beginning to the end, the crowd, the way that the people here reacted in Rio to the UFC has just been, tonight was an amazing event. When I was in my locker room earlier for the prelims, the people were stomping their feet so loud that it sounded like they were going to come through the walls in there. It was awesome.
Is this the loudest UFC event you've ever been to? I mean, we had Toronto where there was 55,000 people, but I mean, I've been to Yankees World Series games, and I honestly do not think the crowd was that loud or that crazy.
There was 55,000 people in Toronto. There were 14,000 people here. It was 10 times louder here than Toronto, Australia, Ireland, anywhere we've ever been that was really loud.
And they have these really fun little cheers and like they do the wave, and I mean it's still like a big participant sport. You know, everybody in the crowd gets involved.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. What was pretty awesome was when Buffer for the main event started to say it's time, the whole crowd said it with him. It was awesome. Tonight was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, Buffer was probably second most popular after Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
All right.
Buffer was in his glory tonight. Greatest night ever for Buffer.
All right, let's get into some fights. What was your reaction when you saw Pajares raise his hands as if he had gotten the victory when Herb Dean did not stop that fight at all and Dan Miller popped up ready to fight again?
I said, this is fucking crazy. I've never seen anything like this before. I was tweeting about it while it happened. It's the second time that he's done. And then, could you imagine, first of all, he does that. In no way, shape, or form did Herb Dean stop that fight or even come close. He didn't even make a move toward them to stop that fight. He runs over and jumps on top of the cage like he won, comes back, then almost gets knocked out, just like he did against Nate Marquardt. It was crazy. I mean, Pajares, I went back and told him, you don't stop fights, okay? The referees stop the fight.
Yeah, well, he learned a lesson there, hopefully, for the second time. But the fight of the night tonight was Ross Pearson and Edson Barboza. But when you announced that at the press conference, I'm not sure if you noticed, but a lot of the press seemed a little bit disappointed. They're all shaking their heads and saying that shouldn't have been fight of the night. Can you explain why you chose that fight?
Well, what do they think should have been fight of the night?
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, that makes no sense then. Here's the reality. If you know anything about fighting, Barboza and Pearson went at it tonight. From round 1 to round 3, these kids didn't stop. Incredible technique. It was a very technical fight, and I don't think people understand or realize what those guys are doing to each other with the leg kicks, the kicks to the body, the elbows, the spinning back fist, and the hands that they threw tonight. There is no doubt in any way, shape, or form that was the fight of the night. And even if people wanted to say, well, what about Pajares and Miller? First of all, that fight could have been ended in that if he didn't jump up and jump on the thing, and then neither guy threw a punch in the third round. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the press was shaking their head about. Maybe they thought the Anderson Silva fight was fight of the night. I don't know, but I think Pearson and Barboza was.
We go from fight of the night to knockout of the night with Nogueira. Did you expect that outcome? In all honesty, did you expect him to come out there and put away Brendan Schaub the way he did?
I thought it was possible. You know, anytime you get two big guys out there that can punch. And listen, Big Nog can punch. And my problem never, you know, with the whole retirement thing for Big Nog, what happens is when you look at a guy throughout his career, and Chuck Liddell went through the same thing, you could hit Chuck Liddell with a baseball bat when he was younger in his career, and the guy never got rocked or hurt. And Nogueira was that same way. And if you look back throughout his career, how many wars this guy's been in, the Crow Cop fight, and all the wars this guy's been in, how much punishment he used to take. Now he gets hit and he gets hurt a lot easier. That's what you look at in something like that. But in no way did I think that Nogueira couldn't knock out Brendan too.
And if it would have been the reversed outcome where he would have been knocked out, you said you had that talk with Chuck Liddell. Is that something that you were seriously considering? Because at the press conference, it seemed like he didn't really want to touch on it, and he was very adamant that, oh, I can keep fighting, I can keep fighting. But 40 fights is a lot of fights.
And 40 of the fights that Nogueira fought are a lot of fights. And yes, if he lost tonight, he and I would have been having a discussion. Like I say, listen, do people still want to? They love Nogueira down here. You know, do people still love Chuck Liddell? They love Chuck Liddell. I could fight Chuck Liddell tomorrow. I don't want to make $1 of that kind of money. That's not the kind of. I'm just not into that. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and not just hurt here right now in a fight, but long term hurt either. I don't want that.
All right, let's talk about the co-main event tonight, Forrest Griffin. Are you at all concerned about him? Because it seemed like he came into this fight he didn't care, he was very nonchalant about it, said he didn't enjoy fighting since 2008, and then he didn't put up much of a fight for Shogun. So are you at all concerned about Forrest and where his mind may be at in terms of fighting?
I don't think he didn't care about the fight. I mean, he cares. I just think that Forrest Griffin has a lot of other things on his mind right now. You know, he's out here in Brazil. He's 15 hours away from home, and his wife is texting him about to have a baby. And, you know, probably wasn't the best time for him to fight.
I hear you're giving him a ride home. Is that true?
Yes, I'm getting his ass home as fast as I can.
All right, he fought Shogun Rua, and Shogun, you had that big loss to John Jones, but now the 205 is a little bit crowded. Would you ever consider putting Shogun and Machida against each other?
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, there's so many fights that we could do at 205 with you know, but they're two of the top contenders for sure. Yeah, they could end up fighting again.
If you make that one, you can give me Joe Silva's matchmaking check.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. So in the main event, at one point, just for a couple seconds, it almost seemed like Anderson was going to start toying with Okami. Did you think, oh my God, here comes another Damian Maia incident?
No, not once. Not even a little bit. I think we've seen, I mean, that's Anderson's style. His style is to move all crazy and do the stuff that he does to throw the guys off. You know, that fight didn't go very long, but I went back and talked to Okami after the fight. Okami's face was busted up. I mean, he was pretty busted up. He didn't come to the press conference because he went to the hospital. So in the short time that fight went on, Okami took some punishment. People just don't realize, and I saw some morons on Twitter tonight saying stuff like, oh, you need to give him a challenge and everything else. Idiots. Do you understand what happened here tonight? This guy is the best fighter in the world and probably one of the best ever. And he makes the 185-pound division look weak. You know, look at the guys that he's run through, and it's a pretty amazing list. This guy is an incredible human being, and anybody who even tries to debate that this guy isn't the best in the world, pound for pound, is out of their mind.
All right, finally, I know it's been a long night, but you said Anderson is not fighting on the Fox card. Any indications as to who may be on that card?
Mm-mm.
All right, Dana, it's my birthday tomorrow. Come on, birthday present. Let's tell him.
I do, but yeah, I can't tell you guys before I tell the actual fighters. I know you would like that, but and as soon as I do tell the fighters, you guys are going to know anyway because their corners start calling you guys and giving you information so that they can be in tight with you guys or however that works. So you'll know as soon as they know.
All right. Well, I tried. Thanks so much for a great event. Unforgettable night, Dana. Thanks so much. Keep checking Heavy.com for more UFC 134 coverage.